Is this a surprise, Bruce McGregor?
I don't know that it's a surprise. I think Ottawa University has a terrific team this year. There's no denying it. They have all kinds of weapons. I think to judge Carleton on the basis of what happened last week might be a little premature, a little unfair. It may be that Ottawa U has the strongest team in the league. Bishops and McGill had a very close game last week. It was a touchdown difference. Concordia and Queens, a difference of 1 point. It may be that Ottawa U is a little bit above the others, and that you have 5 teams battling it out for the remaining playoff spots.
D'Agostino's kick. Taken by Taylor. Taylor's got some room on the sideline, finally pushed out of bounds by Sean Baptiste, number 26, the Ottawa Sooner graduate, member of the 1992 National Junior Football Champion Ottawa Sooners. And there are a few of them on this football club.
Nice hole coming up the sidelines for the kickoff returner. It looked like it could have been dangerous, but a couple of Carleton defenders came over and knocked him out of bounds.
Marco DiNardo was the man who made the extra point after Wilson's touchdown, not Mike D'Agostino. There's a long pass up the middle. It's complete, and he'll score. Number 12, Rob Weir, the fifth-year man, goes all the way. A 68-yard touchdown strike from Dustin Falshear, and the Queens Golden Gaels are back within a single point.
Well, a perfect long pass. The receiver just going straight down the field on a kind of post pattern, and the quarterback hit him right in stride. Rather demoralizing for Carleton after that touchdown march. We saw Ottawa U throw over their deep backs a few times last week. It may be a problem area for the Ravens.
So in to attempt the extra point is Rob Weir. He'll score them. He'll convert them. And now these two teams are back on even terms. And if there's anything that will deflate a team's momentum once they score the opening touchdown early in a football game, it's coming back quickly with one of their own.
Well, the bench looks kind of dejected. They were certainly up until that touchdown. One thing we know for sure, Dan, the wind isn't that big a factor, because that ball was thrown, I'd say, a good 40 yards into the wind. Very nice pass and catch, and of course the defender missed the tackle, so Weir had nothing but daylight.
Jonathan Taylor not only runs back the kicks, he also lets them go for the Queens Golden Gaels. Weir, or not Weir, but Taylor's kick, taken by Wilson at the 30. Has absolutely nowhere to go. All that was in front of him was a sea of yellow, and the Ravens will start out. This is an important drive after Queens scored so quickly.
Well, you have to be careful on kickoff. Sometimes the kickoff return team tends to forget that the ball is live. You don't have to give yards. And there was a bit of hesitation. Fortunately, Wilson moved up quickly and took the ball. Carleton's on its own 32, Dan?
Indeed. First down, 10 yards to go. O'Neill looks to his right, throws. He's got DiNardo wide open. DiNardo still on his feet, finally brought down inside the Queens 40.
Oh, there was nobody home. He just sat under that pass waiting for it. It must have been, maybe we can get a look at it. It may have been an out and down the slot back ran, but there was nobody within 10 yards when he caught that ball.
A 44-yard gain for the Ravens. After they're victimized by a long pass, they come back with one of their own. O'Neill again. The give to Bosfeld. He goes off tackle up the middle. James Oliver there, or James Osborne rather, there to meet Dave Bosfeld. As well, Dave Bannatyne, number 37, the linebacker for the Golden Gaels. The gain is about 3. It'll be second down, 7 yards to go.
Queens looks like it may have adjusted to that basic off-tackle play. That was getting big yardage the first march. Not much there that time.
Passing situation, Hogarth flank wide left this time. Tickell wide right. DiNardo in motion to give up the middle to Wilson, and Wilson gets to about the 35. A gain of about a yard, and Carleton is looking at third down. And scrimmaging from the 35 with the wind at their backs, the field goal would be a 42-yard attempt. What do you do?
Looks like they're going for it, Dan. Sean O'Neill is looking over to the bench for instructions. They're going, and they've got over 5 yards to go. So a big gamble by the Ravens early in this game.
Third down. Wilson and Bosfeld in the backfield. Now they move out. O'Neill rolls to his left. He's in trouble. Down. A sack. Tim Ware, number 48. The fifth-year arts and sciences student from Lawrence Park High School in Toronto gets the Ravens.
Here you can see O'Neill dropping back. Looks like he barely gets a chance to set up. Might have had a chance to throw the ball away and avoid the loss, but Queens has the ball in good shape.
Fleshier. The give up the middle to John Thielen. Thielen picks up about 3 after all is said and done. From the Carleton, or from the Queens 53-yard line, it'll be second down, 7 yards to go, 6 minutes and 50 seconds left to go here in the first quarter.
So let's see what Queens can do here.
Falshear. He's going to throw the lefty into the corner. It's complete. Out there on the left flat to Chris Gear, and a big Queens first down.
Well, here's a situation where the receiver actually had to stand and wait. The deep back simply didn't close quickly enough. It just looked like it was hanging up there ready to be picked off or knocked down, but the deep back didn't arrive.
22-yard gain. Falshear to Chris Gear, and it's first down. 10 yards to go from the Carleton 36-yard line. The Golden Gaels on the march. Taylor, nowhere to go. James Williams and number 73, Cam Legault, there to say hello to Jonathan Taylor and take him back for about a 3-yard loss on the play. Second down, 13 yards to go.
So it seems at this point, Dan, that Carleton has a good, strong defense against the run, but they look vulnerable against the pass.
In the shotgun, Falshear. It's going to be a flag against Queens. Taylor wide open, makes the catch. There's an interference call, I believe, that's pending, but a legal procedure is the initial call going against the Queens University Gaels.
Looked like a safety on that play who turned his back to the ball. You can see the replay. Quarterback throws, and the Carleton deep back, number 42 it was, that would be Tony Pace. Now Tony Pace is a linebacker. Instead of turning to try and bat the ball away, went right into the receiver. And that, of course, is interference. Yes, indeed.
So the illegal procedure call is assessed, as is the interference call, and it'll be second down and about 4.
So a big break for Queens. What looked like it was going to be a play called back because of the interference. They're in good shape at the 29-yard line.
It's actually 2nd and 3 from the 29. Falshear, pitch left to Taylor. Taylor's got some room outside. Gets to inside the 25 to about the 24 where he's pushed out of bounds, but again, a flag is down.
And we might notice that there's only a little more than 5 minutes left in the first quarter, so you can, I guess looking at that timing, Dan, you can kind of see why Carleton gambled. I mean, you could second guess that and say if they punted with the wind, they would have had Queens awfully deep in their own end. But perhaps they feel while they're with the wind, they have to score points.
Penalty going against Queens, holding the call. So again, it'll be second down. This time it'll be 2nd and 14.
Still second down.
Fallshear in the shotgun again. This is the same play they used where Taylor got burned. He went up the middle. Fallshear puts this one up. It's a sitting duck in the Ravens. A couple of players there. Jason Kralt along with number 28, Don Drummond, in a bit of a collision over there on the left corner to knock that down, and now Queens will be forced to kick into the wind for the second time in the football game.
The two deep backs converging there rather nicely. You've got to go to the ball decisively. Don't worry about a collision. And they did that on that particular play. So it looks as though Queens is going to punt here, although I guess it would be too far for a field goal. Yeah, they're in punt formation here, Dan.
Into that wind. Scrimmage is the 36. It'll be a 43-yard attempt. Dan Kader gets the end-over-end kick away, and that will bounce back in Carleton's favor, back towards the Queens Golden Gaels. DiNardo fell on the ball. No yards would be the obvious call, but again, if the ball bounces backwards back into the coverage, it's a judgment call on the part of the officials.
The punt returner did a smart thing there. Rather than wait too long, because the punter, of course, was heading downfield, and that ball only went about 20 yards from scrimmage. You always have to be alert for the punter going down and jumping on his own kick.
Carleton, first down, 10 yards to go from their own 24. The game tied at 7. 4:09 left to go in the opening quarter. O'Neill fakes the handoff. Lots of time. Throws over the middle for Tickell, and it's picked off by number 48, Tim Ware. Ware, still on his feet, finally brought down by Marco DiNardo inside the Carleton 35. But that nothing but a case of just a bad break for the Ravens in that situation, going off the shoulder pads of Matthew Tickell.
Now there was a flag dropped on the play, but you can see this replay. A nicely thrown ball, but the deep back was there. Perfect timing. He arrived just as the ball did, tipped up in the air. So an excellent defensive play.
A face masking call against Queens nullifies the interception, and Carleton maintains possession of the football. This time they'll scrimmage 1st and 10 from the 39-yard line.
A big break for Carleton, Dan.
Well, no sooner do you get a bad one. Carleton luckily got one in their favor with that face masking call against Queens. O'Neill, the draw to Wilson. Wilson gets over the 40 to about the 41. He's stopped by Brent Pullen, number 36, and Dave Bannatyne, number 37 of the Queens Golden Gaels.
Looks as though Queens has made some adjustments to shut down Carleton's run. The first drive was mostly on the ground, and Carleton hasn't had that kind of success since.
O'Neill again throwing over the middle. That one intended for Hogarth, but just too far for him to make the grab. And again, O'Neill throwing in a very, very heavy traffic.
Well, the ball was thrown a little bit too far ahead of the receiver. Here you see the replay. But you're right, there were a lot of yellow jerseys around, so they may have to run some patterns which involve a few more people. Try and spread the defense out a little more. Anyway, here comes Carleton's first punt of the day. It looks like we have Boxall back to kick.
Scott Boxall handled the punting chores in the second half against the University of Ottawa in last week's Panda. And it gets a beautiful kick away. Back for it, number 21, Paul Greenhow. Greenhow bobs, weaves, and buries his head and gets out over the 35. Good downfield tackling led by Bosfeld and number 50 of the Carleton Ravens, Omar Segovia.
Queens Golden Gaels, first down from their 36-yard line.
Now that punt was a beautiful spiral, and Carleton got down nicely, so they've got field position back again. Let's see if they can hold the Gaels.
Falshear likes to throw, the lefty. Dustin Falshear, in just his first year playing football at Queens. Taylor takes it around the right end, picks up about 5. It'll be second down, 5 yards to go. Vito Greco in there to make the stop.
Ball carried to the 42-yard line. That's second
Carleton
down.
has been getting close to Falshear. They've been blitzing their outside linebackers, and he's been getting the ball away just as he's been hit. Let's see if they bring some backers on this play.
I formation, Thielen and Taylor. The give to Taylor up the middle. Taylor will not have enough yardage for the first down. Vito Greco and number 51, James Williams, there to make the stop for the Ravens. And Queens is looking at, again, another punting situation. Just a minute 25 left to go with the wind in their face before the teams switch ends.
So it was important for the Ravens to stop Queens, because now Queens has to kick into the wind. So Carleton will get at least one more possession with the wind.
Dan Kader standing back at his own 31-yard line. A rather short snap on a punt. And Kader is going to try and take off. No, he gets it away. It's a very weak punt taken by DiNardo. And DiNardo gets over the midfield stripe into Queens territory. The stop made by number 26, Steve Bird, and number 34, Glenn Young of the Queens Golden Gaels. But more importantly, as you mentioned, Bruce, the Carleton Ravens will have one more possession with the wind at their backs with 59 seconds left to go in the first quarter. These two teams are tied at 7.
Dan, that was a rather strange decision on the punter's part. It didn't look like he was under pressure. Almost looked like it was a pre-planned run, but boy, he was lucky he got that away at all.
O'Neill. The pitch right to Bosfeld. Bosfeld cuts up field. Picks up about 2. Stop made by Jim Aru and Tim Ware. So there's 30 seconds left to go. And if Carleton doesn't throw here, I'll be very, very surprised. Second down and a long 8. O'Neill throws, complete to Tickell. Tickell gets the first down, pushed out of bounds by Andy Miners, but Matthew Tickell makes the reception, and with 2 seconds left, the Ravens will get one more play with the wind at their backs.
Well, they didn't get greedy there. They went for the first down. We saw that little curl pattern earlier this
they're
half.
Just shy of the first down.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, about a foot to go, it looks like. So the key thing here is to get the first down. We won't worry too much about...
3rd and inches. O'Neill takes it himself, picks up the necessary yardage plus a couple more, and that is the final play of the first quarter. And at the end of 15 minutes, these two teams, the Carleton Ravens and the Queens Golden Gaels, deadlocked at a converted touchdown apiece.
Well, it looks like we've got 2 even teams here. Queens has had one big play, the long touchdown pass. Other than that, their offense has been not too effective, but of course they were throwing into the wind. Carleton, on the other hand, had an initial drive, which involved a lot of running. Since then, the running game has been shut down to a great extent, and they've had to rely more on the pass. So we'll see as the second quarter begins, and Carleton is going into the wind.
Full house backfield. DiNardo. D'Agostino, and again, time count violation called. Illegal procedure is the call. All right, let's go downstairs where our host James Cybulski is standing by. James?
Well, with an exciting afternoon so far. Score tied at 7 here after 1 quarter of play. A little earlier, I spoke to Don Smith, coach of the University of Carleton Ravens football team, and he felt pretty confident about this afternoon's contest with Queens. Here with Ravens head coach Don Smith. Don, how does the team shape up this afternoon's contest?
Well, we're in good shape. We don't have anyone injured, and we've had a good week of practice, so it's just a matter of the guys coming now and showing what they can do.
Let's talk a bit about last week's game against Ottawa University, 35-8 loss. Was there anything to build upon? Was there any positives to pull out of that game?
Yeah, at one point when it was 21-8, had we not had one touchdown called back and then we missed a wide open pass in the end zone, we would have been 21-21. So there were some positive things, but we essentially just shot ourselves in the foot and made it easy for Ottawa U.
Let's talk a bit about last week, a little controversial moment. Apparently you came out in the print media and said you left the field rather abruptly. Any particular reason for that?
Well, I have my reasons, but as I said in the press, I'm not going to comment. It's something that is personal to me.
Back to live action. Carleton with a couple of opportunities to get something going, but Queen's defense has held them, and they're now forced into a 3rd down and about 14 yards to go. So this will be the second punt attempted by Scott Boxall, who saw some playing time in the quarterback position last week. Good snap. Boxall gets it, and it goes off the side of his foot, bounces back, and that punt will go for a grand total of -1 yards in the transition.
Something that might be evident next time Carleton punts. They have a lot of people out wide, and they don't leave that many in the block. And what Queens did that time is they just loaded up the middle and came on. And I think part of the reason the kick was so short was the wind, obviously, but also the punter was rushed. They may have to leave some people in rather than flank them out more.
Fallshear in the shotgun, the give to Taylor up the middle. He's met very, very quickly by Tony Pace in from his linebacking spot to keep Taylor's gain no further than the 3 yards he accumulated on that particular exchange. It'll be 2nd down, 7 yards to go.
This will be a test of Carleton's defensive backfield now, Dan. Looked a little porous in the first quarter. We'll see whether they can defend against Queens' passing.
Fallshear in the shotgun again. This time he'll throw. It's not Fallshear. It's number 9, Bo Howes. His pass intended for Rob Weir, but it goes incomplete. So Bob Howes juggling his quarterbacks, maybe to try to keep the Carleton defense on its heels.
Weir was wide open in the flats, and he simply dropped the ball. He looked up before he had possession. You could see the agony he felt afterwards. Just sitting out in the flats.
A rarity in football to see 2 left-handed quarterbacks on the same team.
Very rare.
Injured ball player. It's Rob Chalmers down there receiving some attention from the Queens training staff.
Something to notice here, Dan, left-handed quarterbacks, of course, tend to throw left, just as right-handers tend to throw right. Often a defensive backfield will have their strongest corners on the offensive right-hand side. And I just wonder if that will be a factor as the game goes along. We've seen the Queens quarterbacks throw quite often to their left so far.
So Dan Kader back to punt once again. Just a 13-yard drop. Very short. Kader gets this one away, an end-over-end kick. Marco DiNardo takes it at his own 15. DiNardo cuts up the middle, gets to the 25 before he's met by number 78, Matt Carlisle. And that's where the Ravens will take over. And aside from the opening 6 or 7 minutes of this football game, there hasn't really been much to talk about.
No, the offenses have been shut down. What we saw there, of course, was a much better Queens kick, with the result that Carleton's deep in their own end. So what Carleton has to try to do is establish ball control into the wind so they don't get pinned down too deeply in their own end. DiNardo made a very nice play there to take the ball in the air.
From the 25, the give. Wilson picks up about 6 or 7. Stop was made by Jim Aru. Aru, a second-year linebacker.
Nice little run by Wilson there. The initial hole was closed, and he stepped to the outside. Looked like he picked up about 6 or 7.
Second down. 3 yards to go. O'Neill. Wilson. DiNardo in motion left. Wilson the lone back. He gets the call once again, tries to go off tackle, gets very close to another Carleton first down. We'll have to wait and see where the officials spot the football. It's right on the 35-yard stripe.
That looks too close to call. I think they're going to have to bring in the sticks. I imagine if Carleton is short, they will go for it. It's only inches if they're short at all.
Just shy. The nose of the football.
We're talking possibly 2 inches maximum here. Well, Queens is bringing in the beef. A couple of big boys coming in to shore up the defense, probably anticipating a quarterback sneak.
So the Ravens are going to go for it. Third down. The second time that they've gone for it on third down. The last situation was a 3rd and 5, and Sean O'Neill was nailed for a 13-yard loss. O'Neill takes it himself again, and he's successful this time.
First down, Carleton.
So that
Actually,
would
make it that's the 3rd time they've gone for it. Quarterback sneak
yes, it
works
is.
another time.
But this one was almost automatic. An important first down for the Ravens. They have to run off some time, and they have to have some ball control against the wind.
Well, Don Smith content to establish his ground game using both Wilson and Bosveld to some degree of success in that first half. DiNardo gets the call on the counter this time. Tries to reach the ball up to about the 45-yard, or the 40-yard line, rather. Pretty successful in doing that. A pickup of about 4 yards.
Second down, Carleton.
2nd and 6. 10 minutes and 10 seconds left to go here in the second quarter. The Ravens and the Queens Golden Gaels in tough here as Rogers Community 22's coverage of the 50th year of the Department of Athletics at Carleton University continues. O'Neill, he's going to throw this time. It's incomplete to Hogarth. He had it, and then he was hit by number 21, Paul Greenhow, and that knocked the ball loose. So this drive looks as if it's stalled. I don't think Don Smith is going to go for it on third down in this situation.
Now, what we have to watch for in this particular punt is the Queens defense. Let's see if they come up the middle again. Last time they almost blocked it. Carleton flanking out 2 people on each side, leaving not that many in to block.
Greenhow was the man who leveled the hit on Scott Hogarth, and he is the injured ball player that's getting some attention from the Queens training staff as the officials involve themselves in a bit of a discussion at midfield, or at the 40-yard line.
That's the second time, Dan, we've seen a Queens defender come in and make the hit just as the ball arrived. Nicely timed. I don't think Hogarth would have had the first down anyway, unless he had broken the tackle. But there certainly wasn't going to be any doubt with that hit.
Greenhow is out. Brian O'Neill moves into that spot. Scott Boxall back at his own 26-yard line, getting set to punt. And again, Don Smith content to get the coverage downfield. Boxall is going to take off himself. He's got the first down and more. Across the 50-yard line to about the 52. And nobody can say that the Carleton Ravens don't have a few tricks up their sleeve. Harry Van Hofwagen, in a punting situation last week at the Panda game, made the first down. Scott Boxall does it here.
When you have so many people bunched into the middle as Queens did, one thing you can do is run wide, and that's what Boxall did. Carleton pulling out all the stops.
1st and 10. O'Neill in again. Drops the pass, sets, throws. This time he completes it to Hogarth. And Hogarth picks up about 9 before O'Neill, along with Brent Pullen, make the stop for Queens.
These two receivers, Tickell and Hogarth, remind me of an all-star receiver that Carleton had about 10 years ago named John Dolly, who used to run those hooks and curls just beautifully. They're not big burners, but they seem to have sure hands, and they run good routes.
They give up the middle to Wilson. Wilson picks up again another Carleton first down. And what we haven't seen here, I hope I'm not putting the kiss of death on the festivities this afternoon, but not a lot of penalties. Quite a contrast from last week's game.
It certainly is. Last week was, it became rather absurd after a while. It looks like both teams have had another week of practice, and they've got the kinks out, and this looks more like football.
O'Neill has Tickell wide right. Hogarth wide left. Rolls, gets into the pocket. He's got DiNardo, it's complete.
Superb catch out there, Dan. Waited just till the last minute, went up for the ball, sure hands. Very nicely done, and a good throw, a corner pattern into the wind.
Excellent poise showed by O'Neill.
And we have an injured lineman for the Ravens. Number 67, looks like Abdeen Wahab.
Sean O'Neill just showing all kinds of poise, standing in the pocket, waiting till the last possible second to unload the ball.
There were people in his face. It's his 3rd year as quarterback, and Sean O'Neill has shown some real signs of maturity this year, both last week and this. Well, against all odds, Carleton has a march going. They started at their own 25. They gambled on 3rd and long on a punt situation. And now they have the ball down inside Queens' 25, looks like about the 22. Wahab being helped off. He looks okay. He looks like he might have been just knocked woozy a little bit.
Perfect day for football. Cool temperature, the temperature hovering around the 14-degree mark. Might have to dress a little warm if you were sitting in the stands, but out there on the field, it's just absolutely perfect. O'Neill again. The pitch, wide right. It's Bosveld. Bosveld with some room, cuts upfield and gets inside the 10 before being forced out of bounds by Jeff Dutrasac.
You saw Bosveld there with pure speed. A couple of Queens players had angles. Here you see it. It's a pitch out going to the right. A couple of people have angles. Bosveld simply outruns them. And he turns the corner nicely, gets out of bounds inside the 10-yard line.
They're going to give him the 6. I think that's being a little generous, at least from this vantage point.
Well, it looked as though Bosveld was kind of tiptoeing down the sidelines before he went out.
Timeout, I believe, may have been called by the Ravens. O'Neill is on the bench. Talking to Don Smith, getting some last-minute instructions.
Looks to be a little confusion here at Carleton's bench as to who's supposed to be on.
O'Neill there.
If you're in doubt, best to call a T, and with 7:48 left in the first half, time for Carleton to get organized, decide what they're going to do with first down at the 6-yard line.
And not a bad time to call one. One of the linemen getting some pro wrap Actually, it's not a lineman. It's number 22, Marty Smits, who's a tight end. Well, that's a lineman.
You don't see too many tight ends in the game these days. It's almost an extinct position. Most pro teams going with the double slots now.
Again, some more confusion. Out there now for the Ravens, Chris Fahey coming off in favor of Mark Robertson. Well, getting on the field in favor of Mark Robinson. First down, goal to go for the Ravens. 7:38 left to go in the first half. The team's tied at 7. The give to Bosfeld, off tackle. 6 points, Ravens.
Boy, they blew this one open. We'll have to take a look at the replay and see who was blocking on the right side. You watch Wilson, number 14, goes ahead. He takes the linebacker out. Oh yeah, nice lead block by Wayne Wilson, and Bosveld just followed his offensive line into the end zone. So Carleton with a determined, varied march from their own 25 goes all the way down. That's got to make their offense feel good.
And importantly, you touched upon it earlier, Bruce, the fact that they ate up almost 5 minutes off the clock in that drive.
That they did.
DiNardo's point after is good, and the Ravens lead it 14-7. 7.5 minutes left to go in the first half.
Well, we'll see if Queens can come back. The last time they were down a touchdown, it took them one play to get the 7 points back. A long bomb to Weir.
Against the wind. This time they're going with the wind.
They're going with the wind. I'm kind of surprised that Queens hasn't aired it out more since they got the ball in this quarter. I think we're going to see that now, however. Of course, there was that pass out in the flats that Weir dropped. Now the kickoff will be against a rather stiff breeze. We're looking across the field and we can see a Queens flag. It's just about straight out. Here's the kickoff.
Not a bad kick by D'Agostino, taken by Taylor at the 25. Taylor gets out to the 35. Good downfield pursuit once again from number 50, Omar Segovia. And now Queens will answer, or attempt to answer, Carleton's touchdown with some points of their own, and Bo Howes is back in at quarterback for Queens.
Good strong kick into the wind and nice coverage downfield.
In the shotgun, Bo Howes bobbles the snap a bit. Vito Greco in his face. The throw is complete. Out in the flat to number 30, Tyler Kudar. And Kudar makes a few yards out of what would have been maybe 6. Turns it into a 14-yard gain and a Queens first down.
Now here we had the snap was poor. It was almost bobbled. A linebacker, Vito Greco, was right in the face of the quarterback, and yet the pass was completed easily. So Carleton's secondary proving once again to be a little weak.
Howes in the shotgun once again. Here comes Segovia. Howes gets the ball away, but well short of the intended target, Chris Gear. Great pursuit by the Ravens front 3. Omar Segovia, number 41, Bruce Cooper, along with number 73, Cam Legault. And they really gave Bo Howes no alternative but to dump it off like that.
It looks as though Carleton are bringing linebackers just about every play. And it certainly was effective there. They might be vulnerable to the screen pass later on. We'll see if Queens comes up with that.
Bo Howes. Back once again. 6'2", 200, throws it over the middle. Looking once again for Kudar. Kudar looking for a flag, an interference call on the play, but not this time.
Once again, the Carleton deep back having a rough time. Had his back to the play. You can see it here. Just lays it out there, and the Carleton deep back, he kind of got lucky. It looks like the Queens receiver stumbled.
5:58 left to go, and Queens again will punt. Dan Kader at the 36. End-over-end kick once again that DiNardo will field on his own 12. DiNardo makes a couple of moves, gets some room, and takes the ball out to the 33. A good run back after a pretty decent kick from Dan Kader, a 42-yard punt, but an 18, 19-yard run back.
DiNardo is one of these people, he doesn't have great speed, but he looks like he's got sure hands. He makes the catch, and he has some nice sense of where his blockers are. He used his blocking very well that time. So Carleton's got better field position than they had last time, Dan. Let's see what they can do.
Better field position, a 7-point lead, and momentum going for them. They took the ball from their own 25 the last time. They're starting at the 33.5 this time, with 5:35 left to go in the half. Wilson back out there after receiving some attention from the training staff. Wilson gets the ball and runs into a wall. Most notably, wearing the number 61, Matt Zeroni.
Absolutely no hole for Wilson that time.
Ball is carried to the 35-yard line.
So Carleton's in a what looks like a passing situation. Once again, they're throwing into the wind. Let's see what O'Neill comes up with.
O'Neill drops back, flag on the play, dumps the little screen over to Bosfeld. Bosfeld cuts upfield and is forced out of bounds around the 41-yard line, but again, a flag is down, and we'll have to await the call from referee Terry Tremblay.
Now that was offside. The slot back just left too early. He tried to anticipate the count. This will be interesting to see whether Queens accepts this or not. They've seen Carleton gamble a couple of times on third down. They might be reluctant to let them have the yardage. Yes, they're taking them back. Not surprising. So I guess, Dan, that sets up about second and 13, 14.
Well, in a couple of situations in the game last week, Carleton was looking at second and 32, so I suppose this is a bit of an improvement from that. But still, a very, very dicey situation going against the wind. Second down, 13 yards to go. O'Neill almost assuredly will throw. Airs it out, and it's picked off by Jeff Dutrasac. At the Carleton 50-yard line, Queens takes over from there.
Well, they tried to go long into the wind. I suppose you could argue that a punt against this wind wouldn't have netted them too much more. However, Carleton's defense is going to have to be called upon to shut the door once again. We have 4 minutes and 17 seconds left in the half. There is an injured Queens player. I believe it was the...
It is Dutrasac. Jeff Dutrasac, 5'9", 170 pounds in just his first year of eligibility.
And he was in excellent position that time. The ball was thrown well, but Dutrasac stayed inside and gave absolutely no opportunity for the Carleton receiver to make the catch.
Bo Howes remains in at quarterback for Queens. Howes looks to his left, under pressure, throws on the run, it's picked off! Jean-Baptiste answers the call for the Ravens, and they get the ball back.
A spectacular interception. The Queens receiver ran a deep hook. The ball was thrown on a line, and Baptiste just stepped in front of him. It was a classic interception. See the replay here. Howes running to his left. Excellent pick by Baptiste. Now, of course, in university football, once your knee goes down, the play is dead. If that had been pro, he probably would have gone all the way.
First and 10 for the Ravens at their own 45-yard line. O'Neill back to pass, all kinds of time. He takes off himself and gets back to the line of scrimmage.
O'Neill appeared to have plenty of time, but nobody was open. Bosveld tried to leak out, but O'Neill probably did the smart thing. Didn't throw into coverage into the wind and ended up with a 1-yard gain. Carleton can afford to be a little conservative here with just about 3 minutes left in the half. They definitely want to preserve their lead.
The game started with the sun shining, but the clouds have rolled in since then. Pitch left, Bosveld.
Nice cut.
Makes the cut upfield, picks up about 9 yards or 8 yards. He'll be short of a first down by maybe the length of a football. There to make the tackle, number 48, Tim Ware for Queens.
You can see Bosveld cut inside here as he runs to his left, cuts inside the block, and I'd say is about a yard from a first down. So Carleton typically going for it.
The fourth time that the Ravens have gambled on third down. O'Neill's going to throw. It's not tipped at the line of scrimmage, but the pass is complete to Hogarth. The stop made by Paul Greenhow, but the Ravens get another first down. And boy, were they lucky on that play that the ball was tipped right into the hands.
It was tipped, but it didn't really affect the ball's trajectory. Kind of a surprise 3rd and 1 throwing. Boy, these Ravens are certainly not playing orthodox conservative football.
Pitch left to Bosveld. He takes it outside this time, and he's got some room. Bosveld gets inside the Queens 45 to about the 43. There to make the stop on Bosveld, number 28, Brian O'Neill. No relation to the Carleton quarterback, and we've got another injured Carleton Raven down.
Bosveld with pure speed here as the pitch goes left. He just decides there's no hole inside, so he runs wide and makes something out of not much. Actually, it's a 6-yard gain. We have an injured Raven on the field. Difficult to see who it is at this from this angle, but the trainers are out looking at him.
Looks like a member of the offensive line, judging by the size of the legs.
Yes. Their center, Weeks, did have some problems last week. I'm not sure. No, he's okay.
All kinds of stuff happen in the pits.
Well, they're checking his right leg, and I'm not sure how much depth Carleton has across the offensive line, but you hate to see a starter go down, especially if you're moving the ball the way they are right now.
The Ravens lead it 14-7. They opened the scoring at the 4:49 mark of the first quarter. A 10-yard touchdown run by Wayne Wilson, and Marco DiNardo converted the touchdown. The Carleton Ravens led it 7-0, but that lead very short-lived because just 33 seconds later, the Queens Golden Gaels tied it up on a 68-yard pass and run from Dustin Fallshear to Rob Weir. And Weir converted the touchdown to tie things at 7. And that's how the first quarter ended. Halfway through the second quarter at the 7:30 mark, a 6-yard touchdown run by Dave Bosveld. And DiNardo convert gave the Ravens a 14-7 lead. And that's exactly where we stand right now with 2 minutes and 1 second left to go in the first half. It's number 56, Rory Lou Kim.
Here we see Bosveld's run. Nothing inside, so he strings it out to the left.
I think he might have popped something.
We can see the lineman lying there on the ground, so something happened back around the position the ball was snapped.
Second down, 4 yards to go after the Bosveld end around. O'Neill to throw once again. Watch out! Fumble! And the Queens Golden Gaels, Tim Ware, falls on the loose football. And once again, a Carleton drive is stopped, but you can see that one coming a mile away. Everybody could see it, but Sean O'Neill.
Linebacker coming from his blind side. Let's take a look. Nobody. Wilson took the inside man. Nobody left to block the wide man. The outside linebacker came in clean. Wilson never had a chance. Ball popped out of his hand as soon as he was hit. So we'll see what Queens can do with a minute 38 left.
The give up the middle to Taylor. Bruce Cooper there to make the stop on him after a gain of about 2. And Queens electing not to utilize the hurry-up offense.
Also, on that particular play anyway, to keep the ball on the ground, which was rather surprising, but I'm sure we'll see them air it out this play.
Second down from Queens, 46-yard line.
Boy, Carleton's corners love to play sort of a bump and run, nose up defense here.
Howes, again, throwing over the middle, too far for Rob Weir. Weir takes a hit from Jason Kralt, and Weir is hurting big time, but this is the kind of thing you expect from a fifth-year veteran. He doesn't go down that easy. We're very reluctant to go down on one knee.
Well, the ball was already gone, but it was a legal hit. The referees were right there. Good pop by Kralt. The receiver may have relaxed a little bit. So Queens is punting, or appears to be.
A minute 12 left to go. Here's Kader's punt. Spiral kick taken by Hogarth at the 35. Hogarth gets to about the 36 and no further. They're leading the charge once again for the Gaels. Matt Carlisle stopping Scott Hogarth after a gain of just 2 yards.
So with a minute and 3 seconds left, we'll see if Carleton is content to sit on this lead or whether they open it up. They certainly haven't done the expected so far. O'Neill has to be a little wary after that last play. That stopped another Carleton march.
Give up the middle, Wilson fumbles, and Queens has recovered once again. Falling on the loose football, Max Turner.
A simple off-tackle play to the right. I imagine Carleton was just trying for possession. This is the type of thing that can kill you. Just when you have a chance to take the ball and run the clock down, finish off the half, a fumble.
58 seconds remaining in the half. The minute flag is up. Howes, shotgun, throws, puts it up, looking for Gear, just too far for him. And then Gear has his face mushed into the turf by Don Drummond, number 28, the right corner for the Ravens.
So Dan, I think you can see what I mean. You notice how many passes are going to the left here with these left-handed quarterbacks.
Don't forget in the second half we will be...
That ball was just thrown up in the air, hoping that the receiver could run under it. Nice coverage by the Carleton deep back. But they do play that tight coverage. It looks like they're susceptible to the deep pass.
Howes once again, he's in trouble, the shovel pass, and that is going to be intentional grounding. We waited for the flag, and Howes just threw that one away to avoid the sack. So that will put Queens in a bigger hole, definitely out of field goal range with 45 seconds left to go. And now it's third down, and Dan Kader will be in to punt once again.
Carleton's defense coming to the rescue. We're seeing an excellent game by Carleton's number 73, Cameron Legault. Again, exerting a lot of pressure along with Harry Van Hofwagen on that play. He seems to be in those quarterbacks' faces every play.
Third down, 29 yards to go. Good snap to Kader. And a good punt that takes DiNardo back inside his own 10 at his 8. DiNardo heads left, starts right, and gets out to the 20. There to make the stop for Queens number 56, Derek Spronk.
Oh, you like to have a guy like DiNardo back there deep. It looks like anytime there's a choice of who's going to take the punt when the ball's in the air, the other returner defers to DiNardo because he's got the sure hands. He doesn't fumble when he's hit. I hope I haven't put the jinx on him. But very steady, very reliable.
So Carleton gets out of another jam, and they get the ball back at their 20. Wilson gets the call, and he'll do exactly what head coach Don Smith asks of him in this situation. Just run the clock out. 30 seconds left to go. A pickup of maybe 1 yard.
If I were Wilson, I'd have two hands over the ball in this situation. 30 seconds left. They should be able to run it out quite easily with this play.
Second down from the 21-yard line.
Now, Queens might be expecting Carleton to run the football here, but don't take anything for granted with these guys. Bosveld takes the ball around the end. Bosveld gets out over the 30-yard line to about the 32, and it'll be another Carleton first down. Good run by Dave Bosveld.
They're getting him around the corner, and Bosveld didn't get a chance to show this much against Ottawa U, but his pure speed is very evident today.
Number 16, Dave Boswell, first down.
He's had a superb half, as Dave Bosveld.
Gain of 10 on the play. O'Neill looking to the bench for a call of some kind. And he's not getting one.
So they've got 4 seconds left. It should be no problem running the clock out. All he has to do basically is fall on one knee. I believe Queens must have called a timeout here. Is that your impression, Dan? There's some sort of a delay.
Can't see why they'd call a timeout. You expect Coach Bob Howes to want to get his team back into the dressing room and have a talk to them and regroup after this first half.
The only thing I can think of is the clock doesn't start until the ball snapped after a timeout.
Hand off to Bosveld up the middle. And that will end the first half with the Carleton Ravens leading the Queens Golden Gaels by a score of 14-7 after 30 minutes. And I don't know, is that to be considered a surprise?
I don't really think so. I think, the Gaels and the Ravens were the two teams that finished out of the playoffs last year. Queens would have had to do a terrific rebuilding job in order to be strong this year. So I think we've got a couple of teams that'll be battling it out for the last playoff spot this year. And they look pretty evenly matched, Dan.
A good first half of football, another good half to come. Let's go down to field level. Here's James Cebulski.
Here at halftime, we have a 14-7 score with the Ravens on top. And stick around, we've got an exciting halftime show lined up your way. Athletic Director Keith Harris will be joining us, along with a few days ago. It was a very exciting day in the capital. The Ottawa Lynx, winners of the 1995 Governor's Cup of the International League. We got the highlights from that game. An exciting game indeed. Howie Mooney, one of the play-by-play announcers, soaked with champagne to say the least. You'll check out the highlights in just a few minutes time. Just one quick note from the game. 56 Ray Lou Kim, an offensive lineman for Carleton, jammed his knee. One of the players you saw down on the field for a while. He's all right, was back in the next series of offensive plays, so he'll be playing more in the second half. That's it for now. We'll be back right after this. Back here on Rogers Community 22, where Carleton currently leads Queens by a score of 14-7. And I'll tell you, you know it's university ball when the band's striking up in the background. Great atmosphere for football. We got a great game going on so far. Joining me at this time is Athletic Director for Carleton University, Keith Harris. Keith, it's the 50th anniversary for athletics here at Carleton. Congratulations.
Well, thank you, and I'm really pleased with the way the team has performed in this first half. Had a good mix of run and pass, and I think that from both teams, I might add, so that augurs well for a good second half.
Let's talk a bit about the 50 years of history here at the University of Carleton. How did the ball get rolling for athletics?
Well, a group of guys were meeting at the Bytown, the engineering students, and the Bytown was quite a watering hole in those days for Carleton students, and they said, you know, we really should have a football team. And so they went over to the Ottawa Journal and spoke to the sports editor and said, you any idea who would be a good coach? And he said, well, yeah, Tiny Herman. And so about 20 to 12 at night, he phoned Tiny Herman's house and woke up sleepy old Tiny and said, there's a group of guys from Carleton would like you to coach their football team. Are you interested? He said, well, give me your phone number and I'll be right back to you. So 20 minutes later, I guess after he had woken his wife and consulted her, he agreed to be Carleton's first football coach.
Unbelievable story. You've been athletic director since 1959. What are some of your fondest memories you remember as athletic director, maybe a big victory or something?
Well, there's no question my first Panda win was very meaningful. As you know, the record over the years has been tilted much in favor of the University of Ottawa. When I came to Carleton, we were only 750 students, and of course the University of Ottawa was considered a big university with 2,400 at that time. So we were the little guys, and Carleton always showed up in great numbers in support of their team. And I think that probably one of the most exciting years for me was a year in which young Bobby Amer matured as our quarterback. It was his second year, and I put in an entirely new offense, sprint out offense that hadn't been seen around here before. And we ended up winning 40-33 in a real humdinger.
Let's talk about plans for a Hall of Fame coming up for the Carleton University. How did the ball get rolling for this?
Well, as you know, this is our 50th anniversary for sport at Carleton, and we decided that we would like to invite back all our former athletes, and particularly those who are championship teams. And so we even have a championship tennis team from, I think that's our earliest championship, and apparently there's only one living member of that team, Wes Nichols, who's a prominent businessman here in the city. But in any event, as an outgrowth of that, we said, gee, why shouldn't we have a Hall of Fame at Carleton? We have some extraordinarily outstanding players in the past in various teams. It's time that Carleton start to collect its memorabilia and recognize its past.
Who votes on this? Is it just the students and the alumni from the university?
There'll be nominations come in from all over, and there is a special committee set up of alumni and members of staff to members of faculty and so forth to adjudicate the nominations and determine who will enter and when.
Keith, a pleasure for having you. Thanks for joining us. And right now we're going to go with a very emotional night. A few days ago, just past Wednesday, the Ottawa Lynx winners of the 1995 International League Governor's Cup. A great night, a rainy night at that. 2 rain delays fans had to endure, but it was well worth the wait. An exciting 4-0 win. And just in case you missed it, us folks here at Rogers Community 22 are being extra nice. We're going to replay the game tonight at 7 o'clock. And here's a few highlights to show you what an exciting night it was.
3-1 pitch, hit the other way, and Curtis Pride makes a nice sliding catch for the 3rd out of the inning. Will first face Kevin Castleberry, who had a pretty fine season, came on to this Expo organization as a replacement player and found a home here in Ottawa. He was this team's AAA All-Star. He lost this one into right field, and it drops in for a base hit. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Bucheri. Hits this one to the left of the shortstop, Ordonez. That was a weird one last night. 1 ball, 1 strike. Martin hits this one down the line. Fair ball. Here comes Castleberry. Bucheri holds at 3rd. And Chris Martin strides into second base with an RBI double. The Lynx lead it 1-0. The 1-1. This one hit through the right side of the infield. Base hit, Bornegal. Looking to help his own cause. The Bornegal single represents the 4th hit of the night, and that equals Ottawa's entire output last night. White gets a nice bunt down. The catcher bobbles it, but Orton able to recover to throw White out at first. The 1-2 pitch swung on and missed, strike 3. So Orton is out of there. We've seen that already in the Ottawa area about a week ago. Some very cool weather. Mix that up with this kind of rain, and it would be very unpleasant indeed. Otero hits this one back to the mound. White comes up with it, throws on to first to get Otero, and there's the 3rd out of the inning. 2 balls, 1 strike to Yan, and he hits this one the other way. It drops in for a base hit. Chris Martin rounds 2nd. He's on his way to 3rd. He'll hold up there. Meantime, Yan scoots back to first base. So now runners on the corners after the Julian Yan single. The 2-1, a high chopper. The shortstop Ordonez is there, flips to Hartke on to first, and they get the double play. In the meantime, trotting home to score from first is Chris Martin with the game's 2nd run. And the Lynx lead it 2-0.
Well, that's a hard ball to double a runner on, double both runners. Fans cheering. Here's the pitch. Big swing and a miss, and Derek Lee is retired. Derek O'Quain does the job here in the 4th inning.
But boy, is he imposing out there. He looks like this great giant up on the mound there. And so that size has got to be a factor in the batter's mind as well.
Here's a ball lofted toward right center. Bucherri is running hard. He's underneath it, calling for it, and he's got it as he backpedals toward the warning track. Just 1 hit for the Tide so far tonight. Here's the payoff pitch. Swing and a miss, and they've got Orton. If Ochoa was in the lineup, you might not see Ledesma out there. Here's the 0-2 pitch. Swung on and missed for strike 3. Derek O'Quain, another clutch K.
Who've arrived from Double-A ball.
Oh! That pitch from O'Quain plunked him right on the head. Crowd now demanding that Derek O'Quain do something here. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Here's the pitch. Strike 3!
The Rains have been particularly tough on the Lynx in that they had a couple of very hot pitchers. Gabe White started out a house on fire. Derek O'Quain was almost as good. Now Benz with a 2-1 pitch. This one hit hard by Derek Lee. Nice catch in center field by Jim Bucherri. 1 ball, 1 strike to Hartke. This one hit up the middle. What a stab by Benz. Bucherri lays down the bunt, throws, gets to first base as Morgan tries to make the play. Now Bucherri's going to second. He's safe with a head-first slide. The 0-1 from Walker, hit hard to right field. This one drops in, it hits the wall. Here comes Bucherri. Julian Yan in with an RBI double. The Lynx lead it 3-0. The 0-1. This one hit hard to center field. It's way back there. It's off the wall. Here comes Julian Yan with the game's 4th run. Benitez with an RBI double. The Lynx lead it 4-0. A championship hangs in the balance. Oh, this is fun. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Swung on and missed. Strike 3. The Ottawa Lynx are the champions. Ottawa's 19-year pro sports jinx is over. Listen to this crowd. Ottawa wins it 4-0.
Exciting stuff indeed, and if you want to catch the entire from the 1st to the 9th inning, rain delays and all, tune in tonight at 7 o'clock for our exclusive replay of Game 4 of the International League Governor's Cup final between the Ottawa Lynx and the Norfolk Tide. A great game, history in the making, and I'll tell you, the post-game celebration is worth its weight in gold, as Howie Mooney will tell you firsthand. Check that out. Should be a great time. Now let's go back upstairs for the third quarter action with two guys who are probably in love with the band at halftime. Here's Dan and Bruce.
Well, I don't know if I'd go that far to say I'm in love with the band, but indeed a decent first half of football displayed by the Carleton Ravens and the Queens Golden Gaels. The opening quarter, the opening few minutes rather, very, very busy. Carleton opening up the scoring at the 4:49 mark of that first quarter. A 10-yard touchdown run by Wayne Wilson. Marco DiNardo made the extra point, giving Carleton a 7-0 lead, but that lead very, very short-lived, because just 33 seconds later on a 68-yard pass and run from Dustin Falshear to Rob Weir, the Queens Golden Gaels got back within one. Weir made the extra point to tie it at 7, and then in the second quarter, Carleton going against the wind, exhibiting just great ball control, starting off the drive from their own 25-yard line. That drive culminating in a 6-yard touchdown run by Dave Bosveld, an end run off tackle right. DiNardo converted, and the Ravens lead it by a score of 14-7 after just 30 minutes of play. Some interesting notes in that first half as well. Carleton gambling on third down a total of 4 times, converting on 3. They went on a 3rd and 5 situation when they could have theoretically kicked the ball away, and quarterback Sean O'Neill sacked on the play. That's the only time they gambled and lost in the first half. Gambling on third down 4 times, winning 3 of those, and that is probably the reason why, one of the reasons why Carleton is ahead at this point in the game. Also a fake punt, a run by Scott Boxhall. Carleton definitely not afraid to take chances, Bruce McGregor.
Absolutely. Except for the one long pass, Carleton dominated that half. And I just hope they come out with a good, serious attitude and didn't leave it in the dressing room at the half. But well, we'll see. Queens might be a little bit more determined this half as well. Aside from the one play, they didn't show too much, Dan.
Well, if anybody can really truly appreciate what this game means to both of these football teams, it's you, Bruce McGregor, because you had an opportunity to play for both teams during your university football career. Just what is it between these two teams in a game like this that makes it so special?
Well, when I began playing football, Queens was in what was called the Big Four at that time, along with Western, Toronto, and McGill. Carleton was in a separate league, along with Ottawa U, McMaster, the 2 Waterloos, and etc. We went down my first 2 years and played exhibition games against the Queens Golden Gaels, and I think they beat us by a total of something like 97-1 in those 2 games, 1965 and 66. So Queens has always had an aura about it as far as football is concerned. They've been a power. They've won the league many times. I think Carleton still feels like they're looking up at Queens a little bit. And the last 2 years, Carleton has gone down into Queens and spoiled their homecoming with upset victories. So it looks as though after many years, things have kind of evened out between these two teams.
You talked about tradition. You played for the legendary Frank Tyndall.
I did indeed. 1969, I was down for my teacher's college year, my last year of football eligibility in university. And when we get a moment later on, Dan, I've got a pretty good Frank Tyndall story for you. But it was quite an experience playing for him.
Well, Bruce talked about the domination by the Ravens of the Queens Golden Gaels in that first half. 15 first downs to just 3 for Queens. In the rushing department, 144 yards, just 17 for Queens. Bosveld leading their way, 11 carries for 73 yards. Wilson, 11 carries for 47 yards. And Taylor the leading ball rusher for Queens in that first half. 8 carries, just 17 yards as Wilson takes it on his own 1. Wilson heads up the left side and is finally brought down around the 20-yard line by number 34 of the Queens Golden Gaels, Glenn Young. In passing, Sean O'Neill, 6 for 10, 1 interception, 97 yards in total. On the Queens side of the ball, Dustin Falshear just 2 of 4 attempts, completed 2 of 4 attempts for 88 yards. Of course, that big one being the 68-yard touchdown pass to Rob Weir. Bo Howes, 1 of 6 for 1 interception for 24 yards. And penalties in that half, certainly nothing like it was in the first half of the Panda when 31 flags were levied. 4 penalties for Carleton for 24 yards and just 3 against Queens for a total of 44 yards. As Sean O'Neill is back in under. The give to Bosfeld up the middle, big hole, and Bosfeld picks up very, very close to first down yardage. Make it a gain of 8 yards on the play. It'll be 2nd down and 2 to go.
Well, Carleton's picking up where they left off. They are going into the wind, and they were able to march the ball quite successfully into the wind in the second quarter. This is going to be a crucial quarter for Queens. They've got to put some points on the board, I figure, in this third quarter.
O'Neill again. The give to Bosfeld. Bosfeld is short of the first down. I don't think he made it.
It's going to be quite close. He had to get across the 30-yard line. Looks like he might be just about on the 30, Dan.
Depending on where the officials spot the football. Referee Terry Tremblay right there calling for a measurement. And the ball is on the other side of the field as you see Sean O'Neill looking on. And again, the Ravens are just shy. The nose of the football away. They gambled 4 times in that first half. Let's see if this is number 5. And I don't think Don Smith has even an inclination to send out his punting unit at this point.
No, they're going for it, and you would expect a quarterback sneak in this situation, although in the second quarter with 3rd and a full yard, we saw O'Neill throw a pass. I don't think we're going to see that here. Queens bunched into the middle, anticipating something up the gut.
O'Neill does indeed take it himself, and he's got enough for the first down.
So these 3 plays to get 10, I think Carleton will certainly take that. Kills some of the clock.
He had enough for the first down, Bruce, but just enough.
Yes, he didn't make it by a lot.
So the Ravens maintain possession of the football. 13 and a half minutes left to go in the third quarter. O'Neill, the draw to Bosfeld. Bosfeld gets maybe 2 yards before being hog-tied by Dave Bannatyne. Dave Bannatyne is just, again, a first-year player, but you'd never know it. From Calgary, Alberta, you'd never know it. Bannatyne certainly taking control of things from his linebacker position in the Queens defense.
He plugged what looked like a sizable hole on that play. Limited the gain to 3.
Second down, 7 yards to go. O'Neill rolling to his right. He's got Hogarth wide open, but he can't get him the ball. He's down. The sack from number 45, Jim Aru, who's been in Sean O'Neill's face for most of the afternoon.
Carleton wide receiver, I guess it was Hogarth, broke open, but by that time O'Neill was running for his life and had no chance to get his arm up and throw the ball. So Queens stops the Ravens after 1 first down, and we'll see how Boxall punts into the wind. The wind, now this may be just momentary, but the flag isn't blowing nearly as hard as it was earlier as we look across the field.
Boxall standing at his own 18-yard line. Not a very long punt taken by Dan Kader. James Williams falls on him, But no yards will be the call against the Carleton Ravens, so Queens should have just absolutely wonderful field position here to begin this drive.
That punt almost straight up and down. And it looks as though Queens will have first down behind where Carleton scrimmaged the ball from. What about the 31 it looks like then?
A 15-yard penalty assessed against the Ravens. And the Queens Golden Gaels start out their first possession of the second half from the Carleton 31-yard line. Fallshear back in there. Weir gets away from Greco, but he can't get away from number 33, Darren Morgan. He ran quite a ways to pick up maybe less than a yard.
In fact, there looks to be a slight loss on the play. Greco didn't make that tackle, but he forced the runner deep. We can see it here on the replay. A kind of a sweep to the right, and by the time the running back outran Greco, there were all kinds of people coming up to help from Carleton secondary.
Fallshear in under again, the give to Thielen. Thielen stopped up almost immediately by number 51, James Williams.
Nice.
So a third down situation is looming large for the Queens Golden Gaels, and you have to wonder whether or not Bob House will send the field goal unit out here.
It looks as though that's what they're doing. We have a kicking tee being put down.
Rob Weir handles that particular duty for the Queens Golden Gaels, and they're going to try and get back within 4. It'll be a 37-yard attempt by Rob Weir. Ball is high snap. Weir gets the kick up. It's got the legs, and it's good. So Rob Weir narrows the gap, and the Carleton Ravens lead Queens 14-10 with 10:41 left to go here in the third quarter.
Well, Dan, Queens still hasn't proven that they can move the ball against Carleton. I think the Ravens would probably feel pretty good about that, given Queens' field position. Now what they have to do is march the ball against the wind. They've got to kill some of the clock. There's still 10 minutes and 41 seconds left in this third quarter. So it's going to be imperative for Carleton to kill some clock, to have some possession, maybe move down the field the way they did in the second quarter. But it's not going to be easy against the wind.
O'Neill with the full backfield, the pitch to Bosfeld. Bosfeld has absolutely nowhere to go, and he's pushed out of bounds, or rather led out of bounds around the 31-yard line, so it'll be a loss of 4 yards on the play, and it's almost as if Queens anticipated that exact play as soon as they saw Bosfeld, the lone setback in the Carleton backfield.
Well, Bosveld was running those pitches wide in the first half, and Queens looks like it's adjusted. They strung that one out beautifully.
Second down, 14 yards to go. The Ravens in a bit of a hole here, not being able to get much going in the second half. O'Neill down again. Guess who's there? Number 36, Brent Pullen. Give him credit for the sack. And Carleton will again be forced to punt.
Now this is what the Ravens did not want, and that is 2 plays and out going into the wind. Boxall not able to kick effectively against the wind so far. We'll see if he has any better luck this time. Carleton has been gambling on third down, but I don't think we'll see it with 3rd and 20 to go.
Well, Harry Van Hofwegen has handled the Carleton punting chores for the last 2 years. High snap, Boxall snarls it down, but it's blocked at the line. Kader picks it up at the 35, and again, Queens will scrimmage 1st and 10 from around the 31, 32-yard line. They got a field goal the last time, but Carleton's defense being called upon here to pick up the slack early in the second half.
Now, I talked about this in the first half, Dan. Queens coming up the middle on those punts. Carleton flanks a lot of people out to the sides. They don't leave that many blockers in. They are vulnerable to the blocked punt.
Fallshear in at quarterback again. They give up the middle to John Thielen. Thielen picks up about 2 yards once again. Cam Legault in there, along with number 53, Chris Shelton. They're helping out, and a host of other the Carleton front seven.
Well, it's up to Carleton to minimize the damage this quarter. That's basically their job. They'll probably have poor field position the whole time.
Queens running the ball in the second half too. You'd think they'd want to throw with the wind. Well, Fallshear's going to throw. This time it's knocked down by Vito Greco. And again, Carleton's defense coming to the fore, and I think you'll see Rob Weir once again. This time it'll be a 38-yard attempt.
See the quarterback on the replay here. Drops back. The outside linebacker. Looks like it might have been number
44.
44, you called it, Dan. Greco getting his hands up. An excellent defensive play.
So Rob Weir will kick from the left hash mark this time. It'll be a 38-yard field goal attempt to get the Queens Golden Gaels back within one. High snap, way over the head of the holder. Weir is back with it, picks it up. He throws. It's complete to number 34, Glenn Young. A flag is down deep in the Carleton secondary, but still, even with the completion, it was not enough to allow Queens a first down. But again, a flag is sitting inside the Carleton 5-yard line.
It was an illegal man downfield against Queens, so Carleton declines it, and they pick up a big break with the bad snap. Weir, I must say, showed a lot of composure. It could have been worse. Picking up the ball, throwing a nice pass, outrunning some people in order to get it away. So Dan, it appears they're on their own. The Ravens are on their own 25, and there are 7 minutes and 36 seconds left in this quarter.
O'Neill once again, the give to Bosfeld. They'll try it this side. And again, Bosfeld has nowhere to run.
Queens is concentrating on shutting down the run, and they're doing an effective job. Bosfeld hesitating there. It looked like nothing but yellow shirts at the point of attack. The result, no gain.
Second down, Carleton from their own 24.
You can understand why O'Neill would be reluctant to throw into this wind. So Queens can afford to concentrate on the running game.
Bosfeld, the lone setback. Wilson in the slot position. The give to Bosfeld. Once again, Bosfeld with some room. Gets out to about the 35, very close to another Carleton first down.
We have a Carleton player injured on the field. It looks like it might be DiNardo holding his leg.
That would definitely hurt. Looks like more of a leg cramp than anything else.
Might be a cramp, might be a hamstring. Oh yes, they're massaging his calf, so it probably is a cramp.
O'Neill comes to the bench for some instruction from head coach Don Smith. Bosfeld with great bit of running, and Carleton looks as if they've picked up enough yardage for the first down by the nose of the football. That has been the story for the Ravens so far in this game. The nose of the football, one way or the other, has dictated the way things have gone.
Well, that was a bit of a delay, and the offensive line did a superb job clearing the hole. Bosfeld had lots of room to run, and when he gets a hole, he's shown he can move. He's one of the premier running backs in the OQIFC.
See the training staff massaging the right leg of Marco DiNardo, and that's a very important leg to the Carleton Ravens. He handles all of the place kicking duties for the Ravens, as well as running back kicks, running out of the backfield. He's kind of the Carleton Ravens Renaissance man.
Well, here we go. First down on the 35.
A big first down for the Ravens. O'Neill, he'll throw this time. He's got Hogarth. Hogarth spins and just basically content to pick up the 7 yards on the reception. It'll be 2nd down, 3 yards to go.
That 7-8 yard curl pattern remains open. That's O'Neill throws the ball a long way sideways. You can see it on the replay. Too bad Hogarth hadn't kept his feet. He looked like he might have had a couple more yards if he'd stayed up.
2nd and 3. The give up the middle to Wilson, and he's tripped up by his own lineman, number 57, Jim Weeks rather, the center, was there trying to fend off his block, and Wilson tripped over him. So Carleton, again, in a 3rd down situation, they must get to the 45-yard line. They're about the 43.5.
And Dan, it appears they're going for it with over 2 yards to go. I guess Coach Smith figuring punting into the wind is futile. They may as well give it a shot.
O'Neill throws, it's complete to number 85, Steve Ruby, his first reception of the ball game, and it's a big one for the Ravens. It's a gain of 3 or 4 and another Carleton first down. So the drive remains alive with 5 minutes left to go in the 3rd quarter. Good catch by Ruby, getting down low, and an equally good throw by Sean O'Neill, because if Ruby wasn't going to catch it, nobody would have been able to even attempt to make an interception.
Well, Ruby did a smart thing there. Instead of bending over and try to pick the ball up off the grass, he went down, made sure of the catch, knowing that he had the first down yardage.
Another injured Carleton ball player on the field.
So Dan, how many times have we seen 3rd down gambles by the Ravens?
Well, certainly a lot more than we've seen them punt.
And that's for sure. They've only punted maybe 3 times, and I think they've gambled, it must be 5 by now at least. And it's paid off. I think they've only failed to make it once.
That's a pretty good average. Actually, 4 times in the first half. That's the 2nd time we've seen them in the second half. So 6 times altogether they've gambled on 3rd down. Matthew Tickell, the injured Carleton ball player, but he's jogging off. Just again, probably more than likely a leg cramp, so he'll go over to the training table for a little massage. First down, 10 yards to go for the Ravens at their own 46. O'Neill dumps that over. It's complete to Bosfeld on what looked to be a screen. Bosfeld, with some excellent individual effort, gets to the midfield stripe. It'll be a gain of 9 yards on the play, and that was all Dave Bosfeld.
Showing us once again the excellent speed. You see here, he turns the corner and just motors up the sidelines. Actually, it's lucky there was one man there that knocked him out of bounds. He could have gone. Carleton with another injury. Boy, there seems to be somebody coming off every play.
Abdeen Wahab, once again, he went down in the first half.
Abdeen, I believe, is one of the guards. Former Glebe collegiate student.
2nd down, a long one. O'Neill to Jason McCauley. McCauley gets very close to another Carleton first down.
He may have to measure this one again. They're right at Queens' 54.
You want to give it to the big bull, and it looks, from this vantage point, it looks as if they've got enough yardage for a first down, and it'll more than likely be by the nose of the football once again.
Well, Dan, this is proving to be a key series for Carleton, because not only are they moving the ball, but they're killing the clock, and the importance of that is once they changed ends to start the 4th quarter, Carleton gets the win. Queens player inadvertently kicking the ball here, so the referee is replacing it.
First and 10. The give to Wilson. And again, Tim Ware, actually it was Bosfeld. Tim Ware, very aware of Dave Bosfeld and allowed him only a gain of a yard.
Bosveld just about to take off, and you see the Queens player holding his ground, not following the quarterback, makes the tackle.
2nd and 9. O'Neill's going to throw this time over the middle for Hogarth. He had it momentarily off his fingertips, and number 48, Tim Ware, again, tremendously cognizant of the Carleton arsenal. At least it seems that way, because every time you see the ball, you see number 48.
Now that would have been a terrific catch. The ball was a little behind the receiver. Hogarth did a good job reaching behind him. However, Carleton should come out of this in decent shape, even if we don't have too strong a punt. They're at Queens' 53-yard line.
Boxall gets it. Another end-over-end kick. Takes a Carleton bounce this time. Picked up by number 21, Greenhow. Greenhow still on his feet over the 35 to about the 38.
And that was a smarter kick. Keep it low, end over end. As soon as it hit the ground, most of the time when they're end over end like this, they'll take a bounce in the kicking team's direction, and that's what happened there. So Queens ends up 1st and 10 on its own 38, and there are only 2 minutes and 35 seconds left in the third quarter.
Wind definitely a factor, and if we could show you the Queens flag in the stands directly across us. Long pass, too far for Andrew Rush.
The ball got up in the wind that time and just sailed. Number 11, however, for Carleton, John Oakway, had good coverage. They just tried a fly pattern down the right-hand side.
Well, Bob Howes instructing his charges to take advantage of the wind. Justin Fallshear in the shotgun. Taylor, the shovel pass to Taylor. It's going to be ruled an incomplete pass as Fallshear alertly dives on the loose football. And again, another third down is in front of the Queens Golden Gaels. They are definitely struggling in this football game to get anything going. Just 3 first downs in the first half, and I think they may have 1 here in the second. Good snap, Kader. Beautiful high spiral kick to DiNardo at his own 20. DiNardo tries to get away from Weir. DiNardo with some excellent running, taking the ball up to the 30-yard line. It'll be a return of about 10 on the 44-yard kick from Dan Kader, and Carleton starts out from their own 30-yard line.
And we have only 1 minute and 42 seconds left, so if Carleton can maintain ball control and until they change ends, they should be in excellent shape with a 14-10 lead going into the fourth quarter.
Sean O'Neill has gone all the way at quarterback for the Ravens this afternoon. Up to Bosfeld through the middle to about the 35. It'll be a gain of 5. He's met once again by Dave Bannatyne.
Good tough running by Bosveld there. No hesitation, just finding the hole, getting as much as he could.
Kurt Cobain and Nirvana wailing in the background. Sean O'Neill. 2nd and 5. O'Neill fakes the handoff to Bosfeld. O'Neill has Hogarth through his hands. Good coverage there by Paul Greenhow, but the ball went through the arms of Scott Hogarth, but again, there's a flag down.
Carleton's being called for holding, Dan, but I doubt that Queens will accept the penalty
44 seconds left.
because that gives Carleton another play. Well, maybe not. Now they're declining. They will force Carleton to kick into the wind. A smart decision. 44 seconds left. So
The wind has been sporadic at best here this afternoon. Sometimes you'll see that Queens flag directly across from us, just completely flat out. Other times you'll see it limp like the Queens offense has been this afternoon.
now Carleton must avoid a blocked punt here.
Well, Boxall standing a good 15 yards back now to allow him the extra time to get the ball away. End over end kick once again, takes a Queens bounce. Carleton has to wait. It's scooped up by number 29, John Krzyzanowski. Krzyzanowski gets into Carleton territory once again, but with just 12 seconds left to go in the third quarter, that makes all the difference in the world. I think it's a pretty safe bet that you'll see Dustin Falshear going for the bundle here, or at least putting the ball up in some fashion with just time ticking away on the third quarter with the wind at their backs. Falshear rolls to his left, throws out to the flat. It's complete to number 10, Chris Gear.
We've got holding Queens, Dan.
So that's coming back.
Number 73 again, Cam Legault broke through, and the man who was blocking him grabbed him, trying to slow him down. But that Queens receiver was wide open. So, of course, a quarter can't end on a penalty, so Queens will get one more shot with the wind, even though there is no time left on the clock in the third quarter.
1, 2, 3, offense. Here we go, boys, here we go.
First down, 20 yards to go for the Queens Golden Gaels, this time from their own side of midfield on their 52.
It's a running play.
The give to Thielen. Thielen breaks a couple of tackles, gets over the midfield stripe before he's knocked down by number 58, Ben Peternell. And again, we've got another Carleton University player down. It's Vito Greco down on one knee, and the training staff out there in a hurry as number 41, Bruce Cooper, comes out to fill the gap left by the void of Vito Greco for at least one play. Right now, let's go down to field level. Here's James Cybulski.
Well, sports is what you like. Keep it locked here on Rogers Community 22 because we got some exciting things coming up your way. September 30th, we're back here at Ravens Field for the quest for the national title in football. Ravens against the McGill Redmen homecoming weekend here at Carleton University. Should be an exciting game to check out. 2 p.m. game time, a game you don't want to miss. Carleton Ravens taking on the McGill Redmen. And don't forget, this evening, later on tonight at 7 o'clock, the rebroadcast of Game 4 of the International League Governor's Cup Final between the Lynx and the Norfolk Tide. A great game to check out. It's all coming your way here on Rogers Community 22 as we head into the fourth quarter. Guys, it should be interesting to see how the wind plays a factor in this one, Dan.
You betcha, James. The Ravens with the wind at their back for the final 15 minutes of this football game. And it certainly has been a contributing factor so far. Queens.
They're going for it.
Second down, 16 yards to go.
Oh, I thought.
Falshear throws, complete once again to Chris Gear. Gear steps out of bounds at the 47, or make that the Carleton 43-yard line, and they will be about 6 yards short, or make it 5 yards short of a first down. So a gain of 9 on the play, a long throw by Falshear to Chris Gear into the wind for a gain of 9 yards. And again, Dan Kader will be called upon to punt for the Golden Gaels. Carleton in a bit of a quandary here as to what defense to use in this situation. Van Hofwegen in there charging, and he blocks it. Harry Van Hofwegen bolted through the line, got his hand on the football, and Shannon Suzuki fell on the loose ball in front of the Queen's bench. What a big break for the Ravens.
Just when Carleton looked totally disorganized, it looked like their punt return team was only about half on the field. Van Hofwegen's doing a strong individual effort, just came right up the gut himself and blocked the punt. So Carleton takes over in great field position with the wind.
Carleton first down from their 50-yard line.
Here's the replay. You see the punter. Van Hofwegen went through 2 people to block that kick. So it's at the Queen's 50-yard line.
Sean O'Neill has Tickell wide left, but he goes up the middle to Bosfeld. He's got some room. Dave Bosfeld, he's going all the way.
No flags, Dan. They just blew it open over the left side. Wow, a couple of people had angles. Dave Bosfeld made those angles disappear just through sheer acceleration and speed.
A 50-yard touchdown run by Dave Bosfeld for his second touchdown of the football game gives the Carleton Ravens a 20-0 lead with a point after to come.
It just shows you what a superb running back can make a rather ordinary play into. That looked like it might have been a 6 or 7 yard gain, and all of a sudden Bosfeld just exploded out of the blocks. Boy, he's showing us something here today.
DiNardo. And a time count violation call against the Ravens will bring the ball back to the 10 to be centered for this point after touchdown. So DiNardo will be kicking this from the 17 as opposed to the normal 12. High snap, ball's down. DiNardo's kick is good. So the Ravens lead it 21-10 on a 50-yard touchdown run from Dave Bosfeld. And the Ravens offensive unit getting a well-deserved round of applause as they trot off the field.
That block kick may be the turning point of the game, Dan. Instead of Carleton having the ball deep in their own end, they ended up on Queens' side of center field and wasted no time, one play to get it in the end zone thanks to Dave Bosfeld. And of course, an excellent bit of blocking by his offensive line, because that hole was certainly there. Queens looking a little demoralized at this point.
Mike D'Agostino Jr. set to kick off for the Ravens. Back waiting for the kick, Jonathan Taylor and Paul Carril. Good kick by D'Agostino, takes Taylor back to his own 2. Taylor out to the 26. Vito Greco and Wayne Wilson there to make the stop. And boy, can you ever see a complete difference in mindset when you look at the Raven bench today as opposed to the way they were in that demoralizing defeat against the Gigis in Panda last Saturday or last Sunday.
They're certainly up. The one thing I would worry about a little bit if I were the Ravens is that Queens' wide receivers have been wide open on these, it's about a 25-yard hook.
The pitch, it's Taylor. Taylor being pursued by Baptiste, gets around him, finally pushed out of bounds by Donald Drummond.
Nice bit of running by Taylor. He looked like he was going to be caught in his own backfield, but he accelerated to get past the tackle of Baptiste, and a nice gain.
Picked up 5 on the play. Second down, 5 yards to go, and Queens will go into the running mode because, again, very, very difficult to pass against this very, very strong northerly wind at Raven Field. Fallshear throws, puts that one up, intending that for Andrew Rush, but that was about 15 yards over his head. So again, Queens forced into a punting situation, and Carleton will get excellent field position to start their next possession.
Carleton's linebackers coming again with a lot of pressure. Bruce Cooper was in there. Number 58, we don't have, oh yes, Ben Peternell coming in as well. So they've been putting continuous pressure on.
Back awaiting the kick, Marco DiNardo, number 24, Mike D'Agostino Jr., number 20, as Dan Kader stands on his own 18-yard line. Kader gets a good punt off into the wind, taken by DiNardo at the midfield stripe. He gets to about the 53 before being hauled down by Steve Bird, number 26 of the Golden Gaels, and the Ravens start out once again at midfield.
Once again, Marco DiNardo showing us his value as a receiver of punts, and then once he gets it, always seems to make the smart move, protecting the ball, making sure he doesn't fumble.
O'Neill, the give up the middle to Wilson. Bounces off one tackle, picks up about 6 extra yards. A great individual effort by Wilson and a pickup of about 7 or 8 yards on the play. But there is a flag down. And so are two players.
Wilson and the player that tackled him, number 28 for Queens.
Brian O'Neill.
Wow. He looked like he was stuffed right at the line of scrimmage. Unfortunately, this is coming back. If you're a Carleton fan, it looks like holding. But
the penalty is holding against
Wilson goes out of the game. In goes Jason McCauley. And the holding penalty will result in a first down once again for Carleton. But they have 20 yards to go as Brian O'Neill is a limp dish rag at the Queens 47-yard line.
Is it time for my Frank Tyndall story here?
Well, you're one of the few people that I know of that actually played for Frank Tyndall. I guess if there was ever a legend in Canadian university football, it would be him or Doug Hargreaves, and both of them coached at Queens. Yeah, why not?
Well, Frank was known for his wry wit, and in 1969, the year I played there was an old boys game in which a lot of Queens alumni came back and played the 1969 team. And in that game, a lawyer who is in town, Gordy Simister, was playing fullback for the old boys. He had played back in the early 60s. And at one point in the game, Gordy broke open. There was nobody there. He had nothing but daylight between himself and the goal line. And somebody caught him from behind, came out of nowhere, tackled him about the 10-yard line. So they had a big dinner afterwards, and Frank was sitting beside Simister, and Gordy says, "Boy, that kid that caught me, he's got tremendous jets. Who was that, Frank?" Frank turns to him, gives him sort of a wry look and says, "Father Time, Gordy. Father Time." Not a bad one-liner.
Brian O'Neill is sitting up now, and he's going to have to get some help off the field. He really had his bell rung in a collision with Wayne Wilson.
Boy, if you're at the Carleton side of things, Wilson's emergence in this game is something to be very happy about, because now people can't key on Dave Bosveld. Carleton has 2 running threats. Wilson doesn't appear to have Bosveld's speed, but he is a powerful running back. He's got some moves, and as we saw on the first touchdown of the game, he can turn the corner. So Carleton, without a lot of flashy receivers, has to rely on a running game, and it looks like they've come up with a second back that can carry the mail.
The holding call gives Carleton a 1st and 20. McCauley in motion. Bosveld, the lone setback. O'Neill to throw, sets up, dumps it off to Bosveld, and he's got some room. Pushed out of bounds by Dan Kader around the Queens 50-yard line. So a good pickup of 13 on the play. It'll be second down, 7 yards to go for the Ravens.
Good thing the sidelines were there because Bosveld was on his way again. You can see it on the replay here. He runs out of bounds, but there was some real estate. Nicely executed play. Good blocking. O'Neill wasn't pressured on that play.
O'Neill throws again. That one goes off the hand of Hogarth. It was well out of his reach, but a flag has been thrown.
Probably interference there, Dan. I was wondering when the Queens deep backs were going to start sneaking up on that little hook pattern they've been running all day. He tried, but unfortunately it looks like he bumped the receiver.
It's pass interference against the Queens Golden Gaels that results in yet another Raven first down.
I wouldn't be surprised if we see a little hook and go soon with Hogarth. Just pump at him and he might turn it up for a deep pass. They've certainly got the cornerback conscious of the short 8 to 12 yard hook.
O'Neill in under. He'll be throwing once again. O'Neill, two-step drop, throws complete to Hogarth. Kader is there along with a wall of yellow sweaters, but Hogarth hangs on to the football and picks up 9 very valuable yards for the Carleton Ravens.
Hogarth once again showing that he's a very sure-handed possession type receiver.
Second down.
Carleton more content to run the ball in the third quarter against the wind. They're taking advantage here by throwing the football. Wilson cuts off tackle, picks up probably about 4 yards on the play. There to make the stop for Queens, number 24, Andy Miners.
Looks like Carleton's being called again for holding.
Well, the 1st and 20 didn't really phase the Ravens a few plays ago, but what they'd like to do in this situation where they're not able to score a major, at least get into position where Marco DiNardo can attempt a field goal with the wind at his back. 10:05 left to go in the football game. The Carleton Ravens lead the Queens Golden Gaels by a score of 21-10. Dan Mooney, Bruce McGregor, and James Cybulski, along with our entire Rogers Community 22 crew, happy to bring you this Carleton University football game live as a timeout has been called by the Ravens.
You know, Dan, I think given the fact that Carleton has the wind, if they can score once again, this game is probably in the bag. So they don't want to keep getting these cheap penalties, especially on successful plays. That looked to be about a 5-yard pickup. Get the ball in the end zone and then let the defense do the rest. They're up 11 points at this juncture, and there are 9 minutes and 50 seconds left in the fourth quarter. But you never know with this game, even though Queens is going into the wind. You don't want to put yourself in a position where you have to throw, because of course Queens could always pick one off and run it back. Nice to be able to run, especially with Bosveld being so effective all day.
Interesting, you see on the Carleton bench, number 72, Paul Huggins, who is a tight end, but he also snaps on special teams. In there practicing his snaps at the net that kickers would normally use to practice their field goals or kickoffs. O'Neill to throw, two-step drop, wide open, too far for Hogarth. The hook and go was there, but O'Neill threw the ball too far.
They had set that play up all day. There was nobody within 15, 20 yards of Hogarth. One thing about throwing the ball up with a wind like that, you never know when the wind is just going to take the ball and float it, and that's probably what happened there. So the Ravens look like they're going to be punting, and this time let's see if they keep a few more people in to prevent the block.
Scott Boxall out there to kick for Carleton. And out there as well, number 72, Paul Huggins, practicing his snaps just moments ago, gets a chance to utilize it in the game, and he gets the low snap away, but Boxall is able to get the kick, a decent kick that takes the Golden Gaels back to their own 5. Greenhow picks it up and gets out to around the 13 or 14 yard line. Make it the 11. And the penalty is going against Queens. They'll move it back 5 yards, so they'll start very, very deep in their own end at their own 6 yard line with 9:08 left to go in the football game.
Looks like somebody threw an illegal block.
Interference penalty against Queens University. First down.
Dustin Fallshear has gone all the way in the second half to give up the middle to John Thielen. Thielen stopped up by number 51, James Williams, and number 58, Ben Peternell.
Well, Queen's pretty well forced to be conservative down in their own end, although they have had men open. But once again, we've said it many times, this wind does play a factor.
Second down after a pickup of 3, 7 yards to go. Fallshear throwing, he's got gear, but the ball was behind him. Chris Gear was open on the Queens sideline, about the 35 yard line, had nothing but real estate in front of him. Fallshear put the ball behind him and did not allow Gear to make the catch.
If that ball is thrown over the correct shoulder, that Queens player is gone. I mean, Carleton really does have to think carefully about their secondary, who's playing there and how they play.
Dan Kader stands 4 yards deep in his own end zone. Gets a good kick away into the wind. DiNardo back at the 45. DiNardo make that D'Agostino, tripped up by Rob Weir.
An excellent play by Weir. First man down, did not miss.
But again, great field position for the Ravens at the Queens 43.
So we'll see if Carleton can eliminate the mistakes. That was an excellent kick into the wind. Carleton never had anything close. This Queens kicker certainly has a strong leg.
O'Neill. Once again, Hogarth drops back behind the line of scrimmage. The give to Bosveld. Goes left, cuts right. Bosveld, the straight arm. He's still on his feet. Fumbles the football and Queens recovers.
Well, a little bit of extra effort, unfortunately, did not pay off in that case. Bosveld made a determined effort. Got around the corner, got popped, tried to turn it back up. Maybe we'll see it on the replay here. The play was supposed to come left. He sees there's no hole, goes to his right, straight arms the first man. Here he gets hit, turns, and loses the football. However, Queens is still in Carleton's end.
Fallshear, play action, throws, looking for Gear, and Gear, had he caught the ball, would have been out of bounds. So the pass goes incomplete as Fallshear had to take a shot in getting that ball away.
It was Cameron Legault again. He's been in the quarterback's face all day. The disturbing thing, if you're a Carleton supporter, is that once again, that receiver was open. Just ran out of field.
2nd and 10. The Queens Golden Gaels attempting to get back into this football game. They trail it by 11 points. Fallshear and the shotgun throws over the middle. It's complete to number 78, Matt Carlisle. And Carlisle has another Queens first down to keep the drive alive at just shy of the midfield stripe.
Well, Queens is certainly not giving up. They got a break with the Bosveld fumble, and They're on their way downfield. We have 6.5 minutes left. Lots of time in this fourth quarter.
Fallshear in the shotgun once again. Thielen in the block. The throw out to the flat. It's complete to number 30, Tyler Kudar. Kudar spins and gets away from one tackler, takes the ball into Carleton territory to about the 45-yard line. They'll give him the 46.
These receivers are so open that they're just standing still waiting for the ball to arrive. Here we see number 30 break a couple of tackles after the catch, and that enabled him to pick up the, well, not quite the first down. They look to be about a foot short. Let's see if Queens does a little play action here.
Officially a gain of 9 on the play. Second down, 1 yard to go. Shotgun again, Fallshear puts it up. Lovely spiral for Kudar. John Oakway on the coverage. A flag is down, and it may be offensive interference.
Well, it looked as though the Carleton defender played that well. He had his back to the ball, but before it arrived, he turned, and it is offensive interference. Good call, Dan.
So a big break for the Ravens here, with Queens gathering up the most momentum they've had since the first half.
The left cornerback for Carleton, John Oakway, played that one very well. And although it wasn't apparent from here, perhaps the Queens receiver grabbed him just as the ball was arriving, because he might have picked that off.
Second down, 15 yards to go for Queens now. The ball just shy of their own 50-yard line. It's Bo Howes in the game at quarterback now for Queens. The lefty rolls to his left, throws, looking for Gear, but again, Chris Gear running out of field. A good strong throw by Bo Howes into the wind. That ball traveled 35 yards across field, so make it 50.
James Williams, number 51, played that very nicely. He was the outside linebacker on the defensive right, offensive left, and he strung it out beautifully so that the quarterback could not get around the corner. Had to throw. Queens kicking into the wind now. Let's see if their punter can get off another good one.
Good snap. Kader gets another high spiraling kick. The wind holding that one up. DiNardo takes it at his own 35. Gets a block, cuts outside, and picks up an extra 12 yards, or make that 17 yards on that one block. The run back will total 22 yards, and the Carleton Ravens take over at their own 52.5-yard line with 4:41 left to go. The Ravens in control of this one, folks. They lead it 21-10.
So the defense coming up big. Now all the offense has to do is control the ball. There are 4 minutes and 28 seconds left in the game.
O'Neill, the give to Wilson on the draw. Wilson gets over the Queens 50-yard line to about the 49. A good effort by Wayne Wilson, but give the offensive line credit for opening up a big hole on that draw.
This Wilson is a load. He had two tacklers line him up on that play. You can see it on the replay here, and he just splits them. Watch this. Two tacklers, he decides to cut between them, and they are history.
Second down, 3 yards to go. The give to Bosveld. Bosveld crosses the Queens 45, and he has more than enough for another Carleton first down.
Looks as though the Ravens offensive line is just pushing Queens backwards now. Excellent forward thrust, but we have an injured Raven on the play.
Dave Bosveld, who seems to be favoring his left knee area.
Well,
and that would be a big loss for the Ravens. Bosveld with 2 touchdowns in this game. One, a 50-yard run that really sealed the fate of the Queens Golden Gaels. That one happening at the 1:26 mark of the fourth quarter. Maybe we can see how Bosveld got hurt busting through the line.
Now, it's pretty difficult to tell with all that pileup, but he has had a history of leg injuries. He burst on the scene 2 years ago in a game down in Kingston against Queens, where Carleton came back in the second half after being down by a couple of touchdowns, and Bosveld basically ran wild. Last year, he wasn't quite as effective. He was hampered by, he's been hampered by these leg injuries. We just hope this one isn't serious. But he has shown today that he is definitely the key to Carleton's offense, and any hopes they have this year of making the playoffs and doing well will depend very, very much on a healthy Dave Bosveld. He appears to be okay. Danny's jogging off under his own steam.
It could be that that score is a little misleading. The Carleton Ravens not only lead the Queens Golden Gaels 21-10, they lead Rob Weir 21-10. Rob Weir scored on a 68-yard touchdown, converted it, and he's got a 37-yard field goal to boot, as I believe it was Wilson getting the call on that play. Wilson picking up maybe a yard.
Well, with Bosveld out of the game, Wilson takes over the tailback position. And that's, we mentioned before, it's important that Carleton have another strong running back in there.
Now O'Neill goes into the shotgun. The give to D'Agostino. D'Agostino has some room outside. D'Agostino cut off by Greenhow. Very close to another Carleton first down. He got to around the 36-yard line. He had to get just inside the 35 to the 34, and it'll be third down once again for the Ravens. And you saw them go gambling on third down on 6 or 7 occasions in this football game. I don't think you'll see it this time, as Scott Boxall prepares to punt and get the Queens Golden Gaels deep into another hole with 2.5 minutes left to go in the football game. You don't even want to see a single point in this situation. I'm sure Don Smith told Scott Boxall, keep the ball in play, kick it out of bounds.
Another nice recovery by Boxall on a poor snap.
Greenhow concedes the single point. It goes as a 37-yard single.
That is a single point for the Carleton Ravens. The score is 22.
For Scott Boxall, that makes the score 22-10.
Well, Dan, I'm wondering if one of the reasons Boxall is in there punting instead of Von Hofwagen is that Boxall is a quarterback and probably has better hands. He's scooped up 2 low snaps in a row now and done a very good job getting the ball away.
Bo Howes throws. Looking again for Chris Gear, the favorite target. And the ball just a little too low. Gear probably could have picked that one up on the one hopper. A la Louis Aparicio.
Yes, for those who go back far enough, the 1959 Go-Go Sox, famed for their keystone combination of Aparicio and Nellie Fox.
Bo Howes throwing over the middle, completes this one to Weir. Weir picks up the first down, but fumbles the football. The Ravens pick it up, but they're going to rule Weir down.
Once again, we find a Queens receiver rather wide open, this time over the middle, but I think Carleton is prepared with 1 minute and 56 seconds to give up a pass that's relatively short. They're going to stay back in a semi-prevent defense here and just guard against the bomb. They're more than a touchdown ahead. All they have to worry about is preventing the quick score here.
Bo Howes. Shotgun. Complete to Kudar. Kudar rumbles his way inside the Carleton 40 to the 37-yard line.
Well, you don't like to see that. A short completion, but rather sloppy tackling. It looked like Carleton was tackling the ball or attempting to. I think at this point they shouldn't worry too much about possession. Just make the tackle. Queens is on the move.
They started this drive on their own 25. Howes rolls to his left. Cam Legault in pursuit. Howes throws. Knocked down by number 33, Darren Morgan, who I'm sure would just as rather have had that interception, but the ball was thrown with such zip on it that it bounced off his shoulder pads.
Well, he timed it beautifully. You can see here on the replay. Howes gets outside the contain, throws a bullet. Number 33 has it bounce right off his chest. Nice timing. Gives the Gaels another life with 1:22 left.
Second down, 10 yards to go. Howes in under this time. Play action. Throwing over the middle. Knocked down by Sean Baptiste. The pass intended for Rob Weir. And now Queens has to go here.
Twice Carleton have had interceptions in their hands and just haven't been able to squeeze. But if they can stop this play, it's all academic. They'll be able to run the clock out themselves if they gain possession. So very important here. They don't want to be in a position where Queens has a touchdown and is trying the short kickoff.
Minute 17 left to go. Third down, 10 yards. Queens at the Carleton 37. Bo Howes back in the pocket, throws over the middle. It's picked off this time. Darren Morgan did not let his second chance go without an interception, and that will just about do it. The Ravens take over with 1:09 left to go and a 22-10 lead.
Third time lucky for the Carleton secondary. This time Morgan holds on. Should just about do it. You'll probably see Carleton with the running game here, playing it rather conservatively. A big victory for the Ravens. This will square them at 1-1. Queens will go to 1-1 as well.
So Sean O'Neill will more than likely run the clock out here. Clock will not start. And a time count violation, so the clock will definitely not start for a little while.
Quite a bit of confusion evident there. It appeared that the wide receivers weren't sure where to line up. And O'Neill looking rather frustrated.
I was going to say the clock would not start until the ball is snapped. And that it will indeed be the case on this play as well. 1:09 left to go. Up the middle to Jason McCauley. McCauley rambles up the middle for a gain of 11 and a Carleton first down.
Nice hole opened up on the left side. They've had a lot of success running to their left today. You see here on the replay, a gaping hole. McCauley looking rather determined as he came bolting up that hole.
McCauley normally called upon for short yardage situations and in the mold of a Jim Reed, who was such an effective blocker in his CFL career with the Ottawa Rough Riders. McCauley getting a chance to carry the football here late in the game. McCauley gets the call again, gets out to about the 53. It'll be a gain of about very, very close to 5 yards. 43 seconds left to go.
McCauley looks like the type of runner that does not have too many dekes. He'd rather run at somebody, reminiscent of the great Green Bay fullback of
Jim Taylor?
Jim Taylor of the early 1960s used to look for people to run over when he broke it open.
Whereas Paul Hornung would run around them.
You got it. 2 tight ends in for the Ravens now.
Up the middle, D'Agostino over this midfield stripe. He'll be a couple of yards short of a first down with 22 seconds left to go.
So Dan, Carleton has some of their backups in now, the 2 running backs, and they're not doing anything subtle, just diving it up the gut. And at this point, Queens appear to be somewhat worn down.
Play is blown in. Sean O'Neill was halfway to the bench getting some instruction from Don Smith, the head coach of the Ravens. And it looks as if the Ravens are going to be penalized here for a time count violation if play indeed is whistled in. They'll stop the clock with 2 seconds left. And Carleton elects to call a timeout. Just shy of the 20 seconds allotted.
So we've got 3 seconds on the clock. All O'Neill basically has to do is run around a little bit after the snap and the game's over. So I think we can conclude a couple of things. One, that Carleton is definitely a team to be reckoned with this year. They were full marks for this victory. I think would you agree, Dan, that over the day they outplayed Queens? They certainly should have a statistical edge.
Without question, the Carleton Ravens came to play this afternoon. I don't know whether it was the fact that Queens was the opposition that allowed them to be so up for it, but you have to sort of give them full marks for coming back after taking a 7-0 lead, only to blow it the very next play on a 68-yard pass and run. They came back to play their style of game, which is ball control. And O'Neill is going to throw on the final play of the game.
He's running for the sidelines.
He's going to run out of bounds, and that seals the victory. The Carleton Ravens even up their record at 1-1. The Queens Golden Gaels even up their record at 1-1 as the Ravens defeat the Queens Golden Gaels by a final score of 22-10. And Don Smith sending his team out to shake hands this week.
There was some controversy last week, but I imagine Don would like that to be just part of the past. Much better football game for the Ravens. Queens providing perhaps not as imposing an opposition as Ottawa U, but the Ravens look good. They're going to have to go with the running game, Dan, and I think Sean O'Neill showed a nice bit of possession passing. So we shall see as the season unfolds.
You think of players of the game for the Carleton side, you got to think of offensively, obviously, Dave Bosveld with 2 touchdowns. You've defensively, Cam Legault, Harry Van Hofwagen on the blocked punt. Where do you begin? All kinds of really stellar efforts on behalf of the Ravens this afternoon.
Their linebackers played well. The only trouble spot is in the deep secondary. They're going to have to rethink that a little bit. But and Queens on their side, able to throw the ball to some extent. Had a little trouble with their running game. They're going to have to regroup. I'm not sure who they play next week. I know Carleton is away. Here's a replay of Carleton's final touchdown. We'll see Dave Bosveld break over the left side, following some excellent blocking, and watch him turn on the Jets.
50 yards that gave the Ravens at that point a 20-0 lead. DiNardo converted the touchdown, and Scott Boxall rounded it off at the 12:49 mark of the fourth quarter with a 37-yard single that made the final 22-10. Right now, a few things are going on in the field. Don Smith making sure that his players know exactly how he feels following their first victory of the season. And this program has gone through quite an arduous journey to get to this point. A couple of years ago, they were one of the favored teams, almost going to the Vanier Cup. Then the program fell into some sort of disrepair, and they lost for a few years. And could this be the turning point? Could they be turning this program around?
Well, it was the mid-'80s that they had a couple of terrific teams that won the league. One went out to Calgary in the and actually made it to the Nationals. This is a very positive sign. The last 2 years in a row, Carleton has won their first 2 games, only to kind of fade later on. But if you're a Carleton fan, and I guess I can't hide the fact that, 4 year with the Ravens has made me one, you have to be heartened by the solid performance here. It wasn't flashy, but they look very solid.
All right. Again, the final score 22-10. The Ravens with their first victory of the season. Our own James Cybulski standing by down on the field with today's game player, Dave Bosfeld. James?
Okay, we're down here with the star of the game today, Dave Bosfield from the Carleton Ravens. An exciting game, 2 touchdowns, including a 50-yarder. You also got yourself injured late in the game, but you really pulled it on throughout the game. And how does it feel getting the points on the board for the offense?
It feels really good. It's a big change from last week where we struggled and we didn't really get the running game going last week because we were taking a lot of penalties on first down. So, this week we played a disciplined game and we executed our offense and really helped us get the run game going, and the more chances I get to run the ball, the more success I think I can have.
Dave, the offense was a little sluggish at some points in the game, and the defense really came up big for you guys.
Yeah, well, when Von Hofwegen, he blocked the punt, that changed the momentum back in our favor, and from there, we went in and scored right away, and we didn't look back from there. The defense did a heck of a job today for us.
And what did you guys change around, if anything, to get you and Wilson the ball a little more, and you guys really exploded, looked like game breakers out there?
Well, basically, it was just that we stayed disciplined and we got ourselves out of, first and long and second and long situations, enabled us to run the ball and pick up, 7 or 8, and then pick up a first down. We don't mind plugging away and driving the ball down the field.
Dave, congratulations, and hope that leg's feeling better for next game.
Okay, thanks.
Take it easy. That's Dave Bosfield, the star of the game today, with 2 touchdowns for the Carleton Ravens in the Ravens' 22-10 victory over the Queens Golden Gaels. That'll do it from here. A reminder, this evening, Game 4 of the International League Governor's Cup Final, a replay from Wednesday when the Lynx defeated the Norfolk Tide 4-0 to win the championship. An absolutely exciting game, a championship victory here in the city of Ottawa. You don't want to miss it. If you did miss it once, telling you, it's great to see. As for the Ravens, back here, September 30th, live on Rogers Community 22, taking on the McGill-Redmond homecoming weekend. I'm looking forward to it. Be here then, 2 o'clock time, September 30th. For everybody here, Bruce McGregor, Dan Mooney, I'm James Cybulski saying so long from Ravens Field.